Welcome everyone to episode 9 of From the Stands, the Cool Pick Show. I'm of course your host Ryan Kolpitz. Thank you for joining us again for another week. Where this week we will be chatting with CFL alumni and Toronto Argonauts alumni, as well as two-time Grey Cup champ Matt Black. So as soon as Matt comes on, we will be able to get rolling. We hope that all of you are doing well and are enjoying this long weekend. Before we get started as well, I would like to thank Matt Creative and Matthew DeCastro for their work on their show with all of our promos and designs. If you need any design work done in your life or for your work, please let us know and we will connect you with them. So let's get Matt on here and start chatting. Just waiting. There he is. Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How you doing? Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you great. Am I coming out good to you?
Yeah, loud and
Good.
clear, man.
How's things, man?
So far, so good. Plugging away through this quarantine like everyone else and trying to stay busy. We got some stuff we're working on in the front office. And just enjoying the time with my daughter, taking it easy with her, going on some bike rides, doing some workouts, and a lot of cooking. So nothing crazy.
Have you made banana bread yet?
I haven't, but my mom's made banana muffins, so I've had a few of those.
Okay. It seems that as soon as quarantine hit, the first thing that everyone started making was bread and banana bread. So
Yep. We've made some chocolate chip cookies. My daughter's done a little bit of baking, some fruit salad and stuff like that. So little things that a 7-year-old can make, but nothing too crazy.
well, that's good, man. At least it keeps
Yeah.
her active and it gives you something to do during the day, right?
Yeah. What about you? How are you holding up?
I'm good, man. I'm fortunate to still be able to work from home, but I had to go from playing sports 6, 7 days or 5 to 6 days a week to sitting at home to do nothing. So that's where I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, you know what? I had this radio show in college, so I'm gonna rebirth that a little bit and make From the Stands. And here we are, 9 episodes deep, and it's still rolling, which I'm really excited for. And we've had a lot of positive feedback on the show from people tuning in, watching, and saying like how great these episodes have been and how
Mhm.
I should do this past quarantine. So hopefully, when everything is kind of back up to a normal lifestyle, we'll be able to still continue doing these things.
Awesome. Well, that's amazing. I'm glad to be here and looking forward to it, man. Should be a good day.
Yeah, man. So let's hop right into it. So my first question for you was back in high school. You played a number of different sports, from ice hockey, uh, baseball, rugby, football, etc. What made
Mhm.
you ultimately decide to kind of go down the pathway of choosing football?
Honestly, I think football chose me. My first love was baseball. I fell in love with that at a young age. Some of my best friends that I have still to this day are from baseball, and same with hockey. That was my world for a while. And I didn't start playing football until I got to high school. And there was just something about the game that stuck. That it's got its claws in me, and it didn't let me go. And was very fortunate to be able to play the game for 20 years and had so much fun. Met so many great, amazing people, and I'm glad the game chose me. I really am.
Now, it's funny that when I was looking a little bit back in your history of where you went to high school and everything, you actually went to Northern Secondary School here in Toronto.
Greatest
And
high school ever.
it's crazy. I almost went to Northern because I grew up in the city. I went to Eglinton Public School for elementary school.
Awesome.
And then I almost went to Northern, but me and my family decided to move out to Whitby through grades 6 and 7. So,
Okay.
yeah, when I saw Northern, I was like, man, what a small world.
Small world, man. Yeah, it's a great high school. We missed you there, so if you could do it over again, come to Northern.
Yeah.
But it was amazing time. Had a great time. I'm still close with a lot of the people that I met there. I've taken the cup back there a couple times. We've had the opportunity to win it, and really happy and excited about my time there. And a lot of great lessons that I learned, and put the football bug in me. So no complaints on my end.
And we're definitely going to chat about those two Grey Cups that you did win. But first off, we got to talk about your draft. In
Mm.
2008, you got drafted by the Toronto Argonauts. What was that moment like for you to get drafted by a team and like not only make the CFL, but also be drafted by a team in a city that you grew up in?
Oh, that was really amazing. I was in college. I was in my junior year, so I had another year left of school, and I was really excited. I sat in the computer lab. The draft wasn't even aired at that time. It was all done online, and I sat in my computer lab at Saginaw Valley and watched the draft unfold. And not gonna lie, I was pretty upset where I got drafted. I thought I was a lot better than a lot of guys that got drafted in front of me. And you know, I, in hindsight, I'm happy it happened the way it did because it gave me extra motivation and determination. Just kind of came into the room with a chip on my shoulder, and the rest, as they say, the rest is history. I was very fortunate to play for 10 years and loved every moment of it. And that was a very exciting time, not only for myself and my family, all the hard work that they put in. My mom, my dad, my brother, my sister, aunts and uncles, everyone was real fired up for me. It was a very, very humbling experience as well because you know, you're one of the guys that's looking to get drafted. You're a big fish in a small pond, and now you get drafted, and now you're a small fish in a big pond, right? So there was a lot of work that had to be done, but very happy for the way things unfolded.
What was it like for you in 2009 was the first year that you got played or you started your career? And as you mentioned, it ended up being a 10-year career. What was the start for you like to kind of get, like everyone's going to have a different experience on their first game and just running onto the field with their team and everything. What was that feeling like for you?
Very surreal, very nervous. Uh, it's interesting that, when I take a look at my first game, and you go through your career and, as you get more experience and you've seen more and you've done more, those nervous feelings, they all kind of go away. And I don't remember the last time I was nervous for a game, but I remember I was petrified in some sense that first game. We were playing Hamilton
Okay.
in Old Ivor Wynn, and first game of the season. I believe it was like a Victoria Day long weekend. It was like a holiday weekend or something like that, long weekend. So big crowd, and it was just ruckus. My first interactions with the Cat and Argo rivalry, and I always remember this. There was a little girl standing on the field. They were doing they had the big Canadian flag on the field, and this little girl, she must have been about 3 or 4 years old, and she was just yelling at the top of her lungs, "Boo! Argos suck! Boo! Argos suck!" And I was running onto the field thinking, like, man, they start them early here. And we were lucky. We went on to win that game, um, and handed the Ticats an L. But it was great. It was really great. Nervousness, full of excitement. Just wanted to make some plays and help my team out, and had a great time.
I
So yeah.
honestly feel that every team or every city is like that, though. We start them young on any level just to get there, but I mean, three is a whole other like atmosphere, really.
Yeah, she could barely speak, man. Her dad was holding her, and we were running right by her, and she just kept yelling at us, "Boo, Argo suck!" I'll never forget that little face, but it was pretty cute. It was pretty cute. She had her
Her,
Tie
her
Cat stuff
first
on, so
her first word was mom or dad. Her second word was boo. We need to train you for this.
pretty
Yeah.
much.
Now, besides that moment there, if you had
hmm
to pick a moment in your, I know it's going to be tough because there's obviously a lot of historic moments, of which
hmm
some we'll touch about shortly. But if there was one moment that you had to touch about or talk about that was your favorite over your 10-year span with the double blue, what would that be? I know.
Man, there's a lot. I think I think the biggest moment, the best moment for me was probably, when in 17 when we won the Grey Cup. Not alone, I made a great play in that game, but just everything that we went through that year, that year kind of culminated in that game right there. It was a team. I think Van Zyl said it. We were a team of misfits. Nobody wanted us. A lot of guys that had been cut or, were considered the tail end of their career, washed up, and all these different things. And, um, you know, we sacrificed and we bought into something that was bigger than ourselves. And, we were the underdogs the whole year. No one expected us to do much. Um, Even when we got to the Grey Cup, people it was lucky, it was fluke. You guys aren't gonna, Calgary's gonna, run you guys out the gym, and nobody really believed in us except ourselves, and it was very, very, very special to be a part of, and I'm so grateful that I was a part of that team. It taught me so much about life, resiliency, and developing backbone, and what you can accomplish together, right? The amazing things that people can accomplish together when you have one common goal and you sacrifice for each other. That year really, the way I sum it up is like no one really cared who had the success, right? Who got the praise, who got the accolades. It was just about us winning games and finding a way to win games and win when it mattered and win when it counts. And we were able to do that, and that was probably the best team that I've ever been a part of in my career. We were extremely close. We sacrificed for one another, and that's the best memory that I have from playing is that 2017 team and what we were able to accomplish together.
And let's actually talk about that 2017 team and more so
Mhm.
you and your play because you've won two Grey Cups with Toronto, one in 2012 and then of course in 2017.
Mhm.
And it was such a close knit game. I remember being at my friend's family's place. We were watching that game. It was snowy. The weather conditions were brutal in Calgary, and I believe was it Calgary that the game was being hosted
In
in?
Ottawa.
Ottawa,
Yeah.
correct. Sorry. But I know it was a 3-point game, and you ended up catching the interception to kind of seal and deliver that victory to Toronto. What was that feeling like for you? Just like obviously all the hard work and determination, as you said, where a lot of people wrote that team off. A lot of people said that team was Chris Van Zyl said, the land of misfits. Like,
Mhm.
what was that feeling like to catch that interception and just secure that victory?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was a very amazing feeling. But for me, it's not about that one play. It's the amount of plays that we made in that game. Whenever we needed one, guys made one. You look at DeVere's 100 yard, touchdown reception. Ricky throws a great ball to, probably one of the best DBs in the league, still in this league right now. Campbell, Posey's against Campbell. It's a great matchup, and it's a guy that's made a lot of big plays in his life, and he was right there to make that play. And Posey, found a way to to bring it home. And then you look at Jermaine and Cleon hustling to that ball and making and knocking it out. And then Cassius being right there on the spot. He's 20 yards deep into the end zone when he you know, when he when that ball is fumbled, right? And he picks it up and takes it back 105 yards. You look at Liram making big catches, or sorry, big kicks when we needed it the most. To put us up three. SJ, DeVere making big plays, James, the offensive line, the defensive line. Every position group made plays that game when they needed to. So, I was fortunate. I was the last one to make a play, but without the 10 or 12 other big plays in that game, that play doesn't happen and it doesn't matter. So, for me that year and that game culminated everything that we were about, that team, every aspect of that team. Like there was no quit in us. We developed backbone. We struggled all year. We learned how to suffer. We loved on each other. We found ways to make plays when we needed to the most, and we believed. We just trusted the process. We put our head down, and we didn't look up until the clock hit, triple zeros across the board, and to be a part of that, and to be a part of that with that many men, and to know that you have the utmost trust in every single one of those guys. Um, it's absolutely it's an absolutely amazing feeling. So for me, being able to help that team cap that off, and and play that game was just absolutely amazing. So can't say enough about that team. It's an amazing team.
Yeah, as the saying goes, there's no I in team, and it's definitely a whole team momentum play that ultimately gets a victory, right?
Hmm.
Um, Now, just kind of another aspect of 2017, as you mentioned, there were cuts to the team, yourself included. You were cut at the start of the 2017, but then season, but then you were signed a week later. What and like you talked about earlier in the discussion about when you were first drafted, how there was a bit of a chip on your shoulder back then. What was the chip like, or what was the feeling like, rather, for you when you got cut, then re-signed, and then worked with your team, worked on all the hard work and determination, and then ultimately helped your team, as you mentioned, team effort, win the Grey Cup that year?
Yeah, it was surreal feeling. You get released in the middle of the season. That's not something that you want. Um, but you know what? There was no hard feelings, to be honest with you. When I left and came back, it felt like I, didn't leave at all. So like a bye week kind of. The guys welcomed me back with open arms, and I was happy to be back. I love those guys, and it was, they dealt with me the right way, and it's part of the business. It just adds another layer of, I guess, excitement to the story that I can tell in another 20 years. But often when I think of 2017, that memory doesn't even come up. It's just a blip in the road. But yeah, it happened, and I get everything happens for a reason, right? So we
Exactly.
were able to get back together and make some amazing happen. So I wouldn't change it for the world.
Now, another kind of over your span career question I have for you is, what would you say has been the toughest, like one of the toughest games or one of the toughest competitors you've had to face during your career?
Ooh, man. Um, that's a really good question. I think, Hamilton is always a big battle. Whenever you play them, it's a rivalry game, right? And the fact that they're so close, um, it just puts so much more pressure and anxiety, and there's so much more passion behind the game. It's it's amazing to play because you go into those stadiums. A lot of the guys that we know each other. You play against each other. You're friends, and you see each other out in the city and stuff, and you guys talk and chop it up. But on game days, and you go into Hamilton, there's no friends. It's everybody hates each other. The fans hate you. They're gonna throw stuff at you. They're gonna make amazing signs and talk smack. And when they come to Toronto and they play, their fans travel. So those rivalries are probably the best ones to play in, just because we play them 3-4 times a year, 5 times a year sometimes, right? And a lot of times there's playoff implications at stake. And when there's not, it's just the age-old rivalry that you just hate each other. So that's it. And then one guy that I see on here, Speedy. He's in my career, he's probably been one of the guys that's been the most consistent, guys that you really have to be cognizant of at all times. You see him take plays and take a screen pass that should be a 5 or 10 yard gain, and he makes three guys miss and takes it down the sideline for 60 or 70 yards. And he's a guy that can change the game at any given time. So whenever he touches the ball, you have to make sure you put him on the ground. And he's elusive. You know, he probably weighs buck 25 soaking wet, right? But he plays like he's 225, right? He's got a lot of heart, and he's a competitor, so a lot of respect for him. And he's a tough guy to play against. So they got a good ball player in him.
And there's actually another guy in the chat, Moneyball 36, I believe was his
Mm.
name, that said in 2017 you actually didn't get cut. They didn't give you a veteran bye week.
Yeah, I know that guy pretty well, man. Yeah, they just gave me a little breather, man. They knew I was getting old and I needed some time off, so
So talking about the end of your career in 2019, you stepped away from the game, but
Mhm.
you took a step not so much away from the game, but from the field into the front office. You now work for football operations as well as football operations and player relations. What's that like for you now? Still working with the Argos, but in a different capacity.
It's awesome. It's a lot of fun. I got to give a lot of praise to, our former general manager, Jim Pop, and head coach, Corey Chamberlain, and President Bill Manning for giving me this opportunity to step into the front office, into this role. And, it's a big learning curve. You're learning the business side of sports, working at a prestigious, top echelon company like Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment. But I'm really happy about this opportunity for myself. I'm really looking forward to learning more about the business of sports and, helping this team, reestablish itself in the community, continue to do the great work that we do, but just help magnify it even more. And, really want to help these guys, play the game that they love and give them every opportunity that they can to be successful on and off the field. And, with our new general manager, Pinball Clemens, everybody is very familiar with him and knows him very, very well. And he's doing amazing things for us. And I'm really looking forward to, whenever this 2020 season kicks off. And, I'm learning lots. They're putting new stuff on my plate every day. And I'm really appreciative and enjoying my role with the team and looking forward to see kind of, where things grow and develop into as the years come.
Yeah, we had a couple fan questions coming to the show as well. The first one actually being talking about Pinball and what it's like to work with him now, from like witnessing him as a player, chatting with him. Obviously, he's always at BMO Fields during game days, usually before his role now as general manager, but also to like everyone knows or anyone that's really talked to Pinball, his outgoing and his enthusiastic spirit and everything that relates around that. What's it like working with someone with that passion behind them?
It's awesome. Learn a lot from Pinball, just watching him day to day. And, he's a really great, one of the great things, he's a really amazing motivator, most people know. He's a really, really selfless guy too, right? If there's anything that he can do to help you, he really wants to push you. He's an amazing boss. He doesn't micromanage you. He's there to support you if you need it. But he's always just giving you little tidbits of wisdom that you can take with you on your. So for me, I don't think I could have a better boss. He doesn't like it when I call him boss, but I still call him boss. And, I've developed a great friendship with him. And, I learned so much from him every single day, just seeing him in the office, seeing him interact with his daughters and his family, and, getting to go out to Grey Cup this year with him and, some of our staff, and, just see him, how incredibly busy he is, but he still finds time for his, for his kids. It's absolutely amazing to watch, and it's inspiring to me. So for me, I really just try to soak up everything that I can from him, and, his knowledge, his understanding of the game, the way that he sees the game, his philosophies on, team and how you treat people, and, treating guys on the way in, on the way out, and, the ideals of our franchise, and, how we have to live them and every single day, and, how those things will slowly spread from us on the inside to the outside world. So, it's been a really, really awesome having him, there at the helm. And, we've put a lot of great pieces in place, and, just seeing him do his due diligence on the coaching hires, and, how he interacts with every staff member and even the various departments in the MLSE, and, how he's been there for a short period of time, but, just has assimilated so well. And, it's really encouraging and inspiring to me. So it's great to have him as a boss.
That's really amazing. Yeah, like I've got the fortunate pleasure of being able to meet him a few times, and I always feel rejuvenated after talking to him. And
hard not to.
Yeah, exactly. It's anyone that talks to him, just like. And the funniest part about him too is that, which is really humbling, or a humbling aspect I appreciate, is that as much as he's on his schedule and people are like, "Yo, we gotta go," he's always like, "Yeah, like 2 more minutes. Like, let me chat with this guy." So.
Yeah, yes. Pinball's got time for everybody in the world. That's an amazing quality for him, man. But I feel bad for his his assistants, his EAs, and when they're trying to keep him on schedule, man, I feel for them because I don't know how you do it. I don't think it's possible, but that's an amazing quality that he has, that he always has time for everyone. And he's so personable with everyone as well, right? It doesn't seem like it's never fake. It's very genuine with Pinner, and it's important to make time for people, and he does that, and it's really it's a really awesome thing to be around. So very fortunate.
Now, talking about personal, the next fan question we actually had, the question was that who has the biggest arms in the office? But the answer is only valid if you don't mention their legs.
I think I know where that question is coming from. I don't know. I haven't been checking out people's guns, but I know we got this guy, or one of our media guys. He's got these twig legs, man. His legs look something like this, right? This is what his legs look like. He got the skinniest skinny jeans in the world.
Yeah.
Guy by the name of Chris. I forget his last name though.
Balanovich.
Oh, there you go.
The reason I know that is because, well, A, he submitted the question, but B, I actually went to school with Chris a couple of years ago out at Durham College, so we have
awesome.
a bit of history together. And when he saw the promo for the show, he's like, "Yo, Matt's such a chill dude, and you'll have a fun conversation with him, but ask him this question." So.
That's all he does. That's why he's got twig legs, right? Because he never does any legs. All he does is arms. So this guy's trying to get some big hammers on him, man. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's a great guy. I love working with Chris. He's a character, man, and he brings life to the office. So we're really fortunate to have him.
Yeah, he's a super chill dude, and similar, like he always takes time to chat with people whenever running around. But it's it's wild to see him, and like I'll be at an Argos game, I'll be like, "Yo, Chris, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, I gotta go," and he's like always running around. And,
he is, man. They keep them busy on game days.
For sure. Mm-hmm. My next question for you is, what kind of advice would you give someone that's maybe watching or going to be watching this episode that wants to get either into football, whether it's trying to make a team on the roster or doing what you're doing now with football operations and being on the back end of football and interacting with guys and making sure that the team succeeds?
Yeah. Persistence, right? I think that's the biggest thing that anyone can have is have persistence, be personable, reach out to people, develop connections and network. This world is a lot of who you know, and being introduced to opportunities when they do arise. And I think that's one of the biggest things you can do, right? Is just be around for the opportunities when they come up and be ready to jump on them. And be ready to work hard. You work lots of hours, late nights, early mornings, evenings, weekends. There's, especially on game days, there's no holidays and stuff like that. You're going to lose your weekends, but if you care about the game, you love the game, it's all worth it. So be around for the opportunities for sure, and be persistent, because when one door closes, another one opens, and I think that's, it's really important to be around when the opportunities are, present themselves, because they don't present themselves that frequently. But if you are persistent enough, something's going to open up for you when you want it to, and then you can take it and run with it.
Words of wisdom right there. My last question for you is, you've done a lot, obviously, on the field. You're doing a lot now with the Argos off the field, but you also reach out to community and you do a lot of community initiatives. What was the push or drive for you that you wanted to give back to a community that not only you grew up in, but that also embraced you with Toronto for 10 years of your career?
Yeah, so I grew up in downtown Toronto. I was an inner city kid. I grew up right at Jarvis and Dundas, so not much more inner city than that you can get. But I had so many people that gave to me along my journey, and I just felt it was only right. I grew up playing baseball at John Innes Community Center and hockey at Moss Park and baseball at Regent Park. And, we had so many volunteer coaches and people that donated time and and equipment to us. And I'm fortunate that I was put in a position where I get to, represent this city on the football field, and just wanted to give back to to the communities that supported me growing up, and hopefully inspire other kids to use their athletic ability, to give themselves an education and open doors for themselves in life. And that's one of the most amazing things about MLSE now, is that I'm get to continue to do what I love. I have a passion for football and to learn something new in the business side of the world, but also give back. Very fortunate to be an ambassador over at the Launchpad, where they work with so many marginalized youth and inner city youth, and they do some amazing work over there. So to get an opportunity to go in and be a part of that is absolutely amazing. And then also, during this pandemic, the Bringing Toronto Back to Our Feet initiative, where we go out and make meals for frontline workers and people in shelters. So just an opportunity, to continue that work is a real blessing for me, and something that I look forward to, and I'm very appreciative that MLSE provides us with those opportunities. So, for me as a city guy and someone that has been given so much to, the city has given so much to me, to be able to give back a little bit to the city, to me is only right. And it's really amazing to see everyone kind of banding together and joining forces during this crazy time right now. So appreciate you having me today, man.
Of course, man. It's awesome. I'm appreciative that you were able to sit down and chat with us today. And thank you to everything that you're doing still with COVID happening for those frontline workers. It's really a humbling experience for you, but also for everyone involved as well. And as everyone's hoping and praying that this eventually ends and we get back to that normalcy sooner than later. But for now, we can only just do what we're guided to do, and but then hopefully, like I said, get back to that normalcy.
Yeah, nothing lasts forever. So this too shall pass. We'll get over this, in due time, and you just got to be patient right now, and take this proper safety precautions and make sure that everybody is as safe as possible, and we get through this. But I like the saying, well, how do you eat an elephant? One day at a time, and I think, or one bite at a time. And I think if we just take this similar approach one day at a time, everybody takes an opportunity every day to do something that's going to better yourself. Spend some time with family and friends, reach out to people you don't normally get to talk to. Find a way that, if you can give back, you can give back. Or, even work on something that you've, had a passion about, but never had an opportunity to, like yourself. I think you're a great example of, starting this podcast up and, having some great success with it, and something you care about. And, these are all positive, great, constructive ways that we can, make the most of this time and, help it go by faster. And, hopefully as this weather improves, and the numbers keep dropping, that we'll be able to get back to normal life as soon as we can. So appreciate you having me today, man. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a lot of fun. And, we'll look forward to tuning into the other episodes.
Thanks, man. I appreciate all the kind words, and thanks again for joining us.
No problem. Take care, Ryan. Have a great one.
You too. Take care, man. Bye.
Bye.